you know, let's go through it. Let's go through the list. So he said I was for privatizing Social Security. And I'm not. And I'll tell you why. I think it's a good program. It's a program that we pay into, all of us pay into, every American pays into, over the course of your life, and then in the autumn of your life. It's something that you can look forward to know that it'll be part of your budget. My mom's on that program. My dad was on that program before we lost him a couple of years ago. My dad's mom's still among the living. In fact, she's in this county. She's living with my Uncle Tom and Peg around Mossy Hill Road. She's 95 years old, Margaret Foley Gibson. She's a wonderful, and she's still full of life, and she's on the program. And some of you may be on the program, and you certainly have family members that are on the program. It's one we need to preserve. First thing we need to do is stop reaching into the Social Security Trust Fund with all that deficit spending. Okay, the next thing he said is, he said I was for medical vouchers. Now I got asked about that by a reporter. I didn't even know what that was. I had to go look it up, so I did. And I'm not for it. All right, the next thing he said was, I'm for moving jobs to China. Now come on. Come on, really. Who would believe something like that? Okay, then he threw an ad up, and he said that I'm going to harm your public schools. Okay, now. I think you may know, and I say this with some trepidation, but I'm an Ichabod Cree graduate. Should I get the Kung Fu stance? Over here in Catskill. And for Mary Jo and I, our kids go to Ichabod Cree. We believe fervently in public schools. I would tell you that the way we're going about this right now is wrong-headed. We are empowering year after year and paying for bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. What our campaign is for, number one, we want to preserve the public direct funding from the federal government to our school districts. We want to preserve that. That's coming directly into the school districts. That's a good thing. What we're opposed to is the excessive and increasing growth of government year after year. Here's some facts, not widely discussed or known. The first thing is, in the 1970s, we had no Department of Education. There wasn't one. In the 1970s. So what you should be thinking in the back of your head is education today better, the same, or worse than it was in the 1970s? Hold that thought. Okay, but there was the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. You. 1980, we opened the doors to the Department of Education. There were 480 employees and about $12 billion worth of budget. Today, there's over 4,800 employees in Washington, D.C., and a budget of about $80 billion. Now, does anybody think that you have 10 times the quality in your classroom today than you had in 1980? Anybody believe that? No. Okay. And you talk to teachers, which I do all the time, and I did last night, and you get in a couple minutes, maybe a few minutes into a conversation, and you start to understand their plight. The bane of their existence are the unfunded mandates. They keep being told how to do this, how to express, how to go about and teach our youth. See, I trust the teachers more than I trust the DC bureaucrats. And that's why I'm an advocate for consolidating the federal government. Consolidating. Using as a model and the starting point, the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. Consolidate this back, and by the way, we need to do this across the federal government. We need to look at ways to do more with less. Because you know what? For too long we did less with more. We need to do more with less. We need to look at your federal government, look at our federal government, and find ways to condense it. So we want to preserve the direct funding into the school districts, and then we want to consolidate the federal government, because there's still going to be a role for the national government when it comes to education. There are some things that are worth knowing, like best practices. That's worth knowing. It would be nice to know which states are experimenting and getting some very encouraging results so that we can share that with all the rest of the states. So within the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, it'd be worthwhile to compile that. But what we need to stop is stop all the mandates that come into the classroom that tell teachers how to do their job. That's the program there. Now you can see the challenge. Can you express that in 30-second ad? You see the challenge. But see, to somebody who is paramountly concerned with fighting for his job, he'll throw these ads up, like he is now. And then, you know, related to this, he said I was for raising your property taxes. Now wait a minute now. This is the guy that voted for our tax increases. We're the ones that want to reduce your taxes. This is crazy. And then, you know, I guess the latest one he threw up is he said, Chris Gibson, not good for the middle class. My kids got a kick out of that one. Look, here's a message from somebody in the middle class. Mr. Murphy, your policies are killing us. Now, you know, I share all this with you, and you know, Mr. Murphy gets to hear all of it. Seriously, and I'm fine with that. We live our life like that. Because, you know, there's a guy here who takes for it. He's with the opposition. He's going to tell you I'm with the Democratic Congressional Committee. But you know what? The guy who does that job, so there's an ad up now saying that I would absolutely raise something about taxes with corporations. It's not what I was expressing. You know how they got that information? You know how they distorted it? They distorted it from the guy who did that. Now this guy's going to tell you he's with the Democratic Congressional Committee, but Mr. Murphy used that to run that ad. So, you know, here's my point. Here's my point. A guy that votes consistently for tax, borrow, and spend, and believes that at every turn, the answer is more big government, and who would send somebody to take me everywhere, what do you think he thinks of your privacy? You trust a guy like that with your guns? No. I mean, I'm just asking. So I mean, hey, these are the facts. These are the facts. So I will tell you that I'm asking you to join the cause. I'm asking you to come with me. I'm asking you to tell all your family and friends about this cause. And if you're a kindred spirit, if you believe in what I'm expressing here today, I'm asking you to get into the polls. Because we the people, we're going to bring victory in November, and we're going to restore our republic beginning in January. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.